Hello, my friends. John Paul here from Seniors Vitality Lab. I need you to stop scrolling for just a moment because what I am about to share with you in the next few minutes could be the most important health conversation you have this year. I say that not to alarm you, but because the global data I am going to walk you through today is information that most Americans are simply not receiving from their evening news. The World Health Organization has just issued its highest level of global alert. A deadly strain of Ebola has broken out, and confirmed cases are now appearing in locations previously considered completely outside any risk corridor. Mainstream media outlets are focusing entirely on generating panic and fear, but fear without understanding leads to absolute paralysis. Real knowledge, rooted in actual biology, is what leads to effective protective action. Today, we are looking at the exact science behind this 2026 international outbreak, and specifically how it impacts adults over the age of 60. Stay with me until the very end, because I am going to share the clinical story of a 71-year-old patient who survived this specific strain against all medical odds, revealing a hidden biological advantage that every senior needs to understand. Welcome back to the Seniors Vitality Lab. On this channel, we look past the sensationalized headlines to bring you deep clinical truths and physiological facts. Our mission is to translate complex infectious disease data into simple blueprints so you can protect your cellular health, your longevity, and your total independence. Before we reveal the unique biological mechanics of this current viral threat, please do me a quick, vital favor. Hit the subscribe button right below this video and click the share button to send this link to your spouse, your siblings, or an old friend. At our stage of life, making sure our inner circle has access to true science is how we look out for each other. Now, let us examine what this virus actually is and how it moves across a highly connected world. To understand this pathogen, we must look at how it behaves under an electron microscope. Ebola is classified as a filovirus, and its structure looks completely different from a typical respiratory virus. It does not look like a round ball covered in spikes the way the influenza virus does. Instead, it appears as a long writing filament, sometimes coiled into a loop and sometimes stretched out like a sinister organic thread. This pathogen was first identified in 1976 simultaneously in two separate African locations, including near the Ebola River in the Democratic Republic of Congo. There are 6 known species within this virus family, but the one driving the current global emergency is the Sudan strain. This distinction matters enormously to an American audience because our approved medical vaccines were designed specifically against the older Zaire strain. The current vaccine does not provide immunity against the Sudan strain, which means the global emergency must be fought with strict prevention and baseline biological defense. There is massive public misunderstanding in America regarding how this pathogen actually transmits from person to person. I want to be completely direct about this. Ebola is not an airborne respiratory virus. It does not float through a ventilation system, and you cannot catch it by simply walking through a crowded supermarket or sitting in an airport waiting room. The virus spreads exclusively through direct contact with the bodily fluids of a person who is actively infected and displaying severe symptoms. This includes direct contact with blood, saliva, sweat, or urine. If these fluids touch a mucous membrane in your eyes, nose, or mouth, transmission can take place. Because of this specific pathway, the individuals facing the highest risk are frontline healthcare workers and family members serving as direct caregivers in home settings. Many seniors assume that because an outbreak starts on another continent, it has zero relevance to their daily lives in America. But we must remember the critical epidemiological lesson from past outbreaks. Geographic distance is no longer an absolute shield against infectious disease. In our modern world, an individual can board a commercial flight and cross a major ocean in less than 9 hours. A virus can incubate silently inside a traveler, crossing borders and reaching any major American city days before a single physical symptom appears. The natural home of this virus is believed to be specific species of fruit bats. When human communities expand into wild habitats, a spillover event can take place, moving the pathogen from wildlife into humans. Data shows that the frequency of these spillover events is increasing globally due to environmental shifts. This is why a global health emergency matters to everyone, because containment at the original source is the only way to protect international borders. Let us walk through the exact physiological timeline of what happens inside the body when infection takes hold. After exposure, there is a completely silent incubation period that can last anywhere from 2 to 21 days. During this silent window, the infected person is not contagious at all because the virus is still multiplying in secret. Once symptoms begin, the pathogen moves with aggressive speed, and its first targets are highly specific. It attacks your primary immune alert cells, known as macrophages and dendritic cells. These cells are supposed to act as your body's early alarm system, signaling the rest of your immunity to mobilize for war. Instead, the virus infects these defensive cells, replicates inside them, and hitches a ride to travel through your bloodstream into every major organ. As the infection spreads, it compromises the endothelial cells that line the interior walls of your blood vessels. When these linings are damaged, vessels can begin to leak fluid, causing blood pressure to drop and putting immense stress on the cardiovascular system. For younger adults, this viral strategy is devastating, but for adults over 60, the biological implications are far more serious. As we age, our bodies undergo a gradual natural decline in immune precision that scientists call immunosenescence. After the age of 65, the body produces significantly fewer naive T cells, which are the specialized cells responsible for identifying and fighting brand new viral threats. Research documents that T cell production in older adults can be reduced by as much as 50% compared to a young adult. This altered biological landscape means an older adult's immune response can be slower to mobilize and less precise in its targeting. Sometimes a stressed immune system begins to fire wildly, creating a massive wave of inflammation that accidentally damages the body's own healthy tissues. The early warning signs of this internal battle look exactly like severe influenza, including a sudden high fever, profound muscle pain, severe headache, and extreme fatigue. This brings us to the clinical story of Sylvia, a 71-year-old retired school teacher from rural Tennessee. Sylvia had traveled overseas to visit a relative doing humanitarian work, completely unaware that a quiet outbreak was beginning in that specific region. By the time contact tracing identified her as a high risk exposure, she had already flown back home to the United States. She was placed in a specialized isolation unit at a major research hospital where she soon tested positive for the lethal Sudan strain. Given her age and the severity of the pathogen, her medical team privately told her family to prepare for a very difficult outcome. But what happened next surprised her attending physicians. While Sylvia became genuinely ill with fever and fatigue, she never developed the severe vascular collapse or organ failure that her doctors anticipated. When her case was reviewed, researchers found that Sylvia possessed two distinct clinical advantages. She had zero history of high blood pressure or cardiovascular disease, meaning her blood vessels were in excellent baseline condition. Furthermore, her blood panels on admission revealed optimal cellular levels of two vital nutrients, zinc and vitamin D. The peer reviewed research regarding nutritional status and viral outcomes is something that standard evening news completely ignores. A major clinical meta analysis reviewed data across multiple outbreaks and discovered that individuals deficient in zinc and vitamin D had mortality rates 28% higher than those with adequate levels. A 28% difference is a monumental statistic when dealing with a severe pathogen. Zinc is an essential mineral required for the actual maturation and functional activity of your immune cells. Think of your immune cells as defensive soldiers and zinc as the logistics system that trains them and supplies them with ammunition. Without enough zinc, the soldiers show up to the fight completely uncoordinated. After the age of 60, your gastrointestinal tract's ability to absorb zinc from food naturally drops by nearly 30%, creating a hidden deficit. Vitamin D operates on a parallel cellular pathway, acting as the main regulator that calibrates your immune response. It ensures your defenses fight aggressively without causing a destructive inflammatory storm inside your own organs. Adults over 70 produce roughly 75% less vitamin D from sun exposure due to changes in skin chemistry, making targeted winter and afternoon levels vital. Sylvia was successfully discharged from the isolation unit after 26 days, and today she is back to her active lifestyle. Her survival proves a profound scientific truth. Your age is not your final destiny when it comes to infectious disease. Your age is simply a variable, and variables can be influenced through consistent everyday choices. No supplement can magically prevent an infection if you are directly exposed to a dangerous virus. But nutritional adequacy ensures your immune system walks into that fight at full capacity rather than already depleted. Take control of your biological foundation by speaking with your personal physician about testing your exact vitamin D and zinc levels. If you have uncontrolled high blood pressure or unstable blood sugar, treat those conditions as urgent priorities because they directly compromise the vascular walls that viruses try to exploit. Stay informed through authoritative health agencies, practice thorough hand hygiene, and support a strong public health infrastructure. Knowledge is the ultimate shield against fear, and choosing to understand the science is your greatest health asset. If this video changed how you look at your immune defense, please hit the like button, subscribe to Seniors Vitality Lab, and share this blueprint with someone you care about. Leave a comment below with your age because I read every single one to guide our future clinical deep dives. Take care of your amazing body, stay proactive, and may God bless you and your family. I will see you in our next video.